In this video, I'm going to build part of the spreadsheet, but not do absolutely everything you need for the dividend discount model. So first, I need a model choice, and I want to choose between constant growth, non-constant growth, and the H model. I want to do this as data validation. I want to do it from a list. So what I'm going to do is control down. If I do control and the down arrow key, I go to the bottom of the page here, and nobody can see this. I'm going to put C for constant, NC for non-constant, and H for H model. And then note what you do. If I'm at the very bottom, I do control up, it goes to where the text ends. And do control up again, it goes to the very top. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and do the data validation. And I want to do it from a list. And what list? Well, I want to do the list down here at the bottom. So I can press the period. Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? So I can just highlight all of these and click OK. And I'm back here at the top. And here's my model choice. And if I want to really do this right, then I come in here and I put an input message. And the input message would say C means constant growth. You know, I would do a complete explanation what C, NC, and H mean. I'm not going to waste your time with that. So here I'm going to have my current dividend, and it's important to have this stuff formatted correctly. So the current dividend, I'm going to do the comma format because it gives me 2 decimal places, and I'll put 2000 real quick. It puts it into a comma if you want that. These growth rates, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to format them as percent. I'll show you how I'll do this one as percent. And the initial growth rate, let's say, is 25%. Now the terminal growth rate, I want it to be 5%, but if I haven't formatted that as percent, if I type in 5, it just comes up as a 5. I go back and do percent, it does 500, I have to retype it as 5. So it's better to go ahead and format what you know you need to format. Years of terminal growth, I'm going to just put in 3 for right now, because I don't need that one. I'm just doing the constant growth model right now. And I have this out to 20. By the way, the fastest way to go out to 20, I'm going to clear the contents here so I can do it again. Control, back over, back up here. If I want to go all the way out to 20, I can just do 1, 2, and I can count to 20. But I can also highlight the 1 and 2 and start to drag this, and Excel says you must want to count by 1. And that's exactly what I do, and I can drag this out to 20. Little things like that are going to make a big difference, and like doing control left arrow key to get you where you want to go quicker. Time is everything here, so that's going to be important for you to get that. So we're going out to 20 for reasons I can talk about later. Just I know 20 is going to be enough. So the dividend in D1 is equal to the dividend, the current dividend, times open parenthesis 1 plus this terminal growth rate, and this dividend is going to be equal to the one before it times 1 plus the terminal growth rate. And if I do F4, it locks that down. If I do F4 again, it locks down just the row, which is the 5. Again, it just locks down the column, which is C, and again, nothing. So I really just need the C locked down. I don't need both. So I can do that. I can copy this over all the way to 20. Now I want to do a little check to make sure this is copying correctly. Just pick one of these, double click, and see how it lights up. It's doing the one before it, times 1 plus that terminal growth rate. I feel good about that because I think that's working. Now I want these to be formatted, and I don't need to see a bunch of decimals. I don't know how many decimals I need, but I know it needs to be consistent wherever it is. I'm just going to do 2 because I'm worried about the pennies here. And I know this isn't exactly $2.32. That's fine. Excel knows what it is. It's just showing you the $2.32. The terminal value is the value at the end, which is what terminal means. So come over here, and the dividend, or I mean the price at the end is going to be the dividend next year, which would be the current dividend, D20, times 1 plus the terminal growth rate. See, doing control left arrow key gets you there faster, divided by K minus G. Look at those parentheses I have. If you don't remember your order of operations, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. then you need to go to Khan Academy and try to find something on order of operations. That's high school, middle school math. You got to know that by now. If you put too many parentheses in there, it makes it look like you don't know what you're doing. Yeah, and the whole point of this class is to get a job. To get a job, you need to make it look like you know what you're doing, right? So that's the price when you would sell this in 20 years. So the value of any financial assets, the present value of future cash flows. So we've estimated the future cash flows. The present value, equal this divided by 1 plus the cost of equity. Lock that down. Now, I don't have to lock down the 7, I just have to lock down the C, but it's easier just to hit that once. Raise that to the power of this year. And here's another thing, I'm not capturing the terminal value there. So when I get to this last one, I need to make sure I have both the dividend plus the terminal value. Now this should look exactly like what we did with a non-constant growth model, right? So the only difference between this and the non-constant growth model, I mean, here it's just taking it step by step, showing you all 20. I could do this very quickly. I could do the price. Well, let me do the price here first. If you press Alt equal, actually my laptop won't allow me to do that when I'm running this program to record everything. So you should do Alt equal to, well, we'll talk about that later because it doesn't work on this laptop. So just sum all of these up, and that's $30. Now how do I know that's right? Well, I know that the price of the stock is equal to current dividend times 1 plus the growth rate divided by K minus G, which is 30. I know I have that right, so I got rid of it. So I just want to do the following. I'm going to have equal this divided by that. So the dividend in year 2 divided by the dividend in year 1 minus 1. So the dividend in each year divided by the one last year minus 1. That will be the rate of increase. And those are all 5%, just like they should be. So I know that's just a little check, and that is using the constant growth model. All right, well, what if I want to use non-constant growth model? I'm going to do this not the way I want you to have it done at the end. I'm going to do this a little slower, simpler way, and then I want you to make this automated. But what if I choose non-constant? All right, nothing changed there, right? But I want you to write an if statement, a nested if statement, that when I go from constant to non-constant, it's going to change things to look like this. Instead of the dividend being 5% every year, after 3 years, the dividend is going to be the dividend from the year before times, this one. We start out with the dividend of this year times 1 plus the initial growth rate. And then this is going to be the dividend that year times 1 plus the initial growth rate, F4. Copy that over. I didn't get the F4 in there right. And copy that over. Now, you never, ever, ever, ever want to have like 1.25 written there, because now I can change this to 30% and it changes automatically. Never put a number where a cell reference will do. That's one of the basic rules of Excel. So now I can see this is going at 25%, and I can also do this one. It's this divided by the current dividend minus 1. So now I can see that that's 25% each year for the first 3 years, and then it goes to 5% thereafter. Alright, so that price is a price using the constant growth model. Now I want to do the H model. And what does the H model do? The H model takes it at 25% and years of terminal growth. I should have changed that. Well, no, I shouldn't. That's fine. Years of terminal growth. I want to take 10 years to get to terminal growth, which means it has an H of 5 or half-life of 5 years. which means for the first 5 years it grows at 25%. And then what should it grow after that? Well, see, what should it grow after that? It should be equal to the 25 minus 5 divided by the number of years of terminal growth divided by 2. So it should go down by 4% every year. So this should be equal to that minus that 4%. That's not what I want to do. I want to do it right here. It should be equal to this minus that 4%, and it should be equal to this minus the 4%. I'm going 17, and there I get to 5 right there. So what I want to do is have this value be equal to that times 1 plus this one. Copy that over, and now that's the value if I have the H model and it goes out for 10 years to terminal growth with those parameters. Okay, so that's a difficult way to do it. I mean, that's a slow way to do it. What I want you to have is I want to see any of this stuff right here at all. That's just for your checks. And I want the user to come along and not know anything about what the H model is or the non-constant or constant growth. I just want that user to be able to click on one of these three, and all these numbers change automatically. So that's going to mean you need to do some if statements. And that's something you need to think through, and that's part of this class, is thinking through exactly how to do that. You have all the tools, you have all of the theory, so now make it happen.